Hello Scallywags and welcome back to Sjinnie's Boy YouTube channel on the World Wide Web. This is 80 Days and this is a point and click adventure about traveling around the world as a valet in Monsieur Phileas Fogg's service. Let's begin. London, 1872. 1 year after the Franco-Prussian War. I have entered into the service of a new gentleman. It would seem he is a gambling man. This is gonna be exciting. We're gonna go all around the world. So the point of 80 days, if you haven't read the books or played this game, is you've got 80 days to travel all around the world. You visit cities and you buy and sell stuff and you meet characters, and it's all really quite fun. This is gonna be one heck of an adventure. Got the Great Lakes. You can go basically anywhere in this game. You go to India, America, South America, Japan, Sweden, basically. And you start in London. So let's begin. London. Monsieur Phileas Fogg returned home early from the Reform Club in a new-fangled steam carriage besides. I helped him down, and the iron lunch steam-driven horses clattered away. So this basically is set in an alternate reality, well, alternate history where it's a lot more like steampunk. There's like iron horses made out of iron and they run on steam engines and stuff. And there's like airships and stuff. It's really cool. Passepartout, he said. We are going around the world. Around the world, monsieur? I asked, utterly astonished. We shall circumnavigate the globe within 80 days. He was quite calm as he proposed this wild scheme. We leave for Paris on the 8:25, in an hour. But I have not prepared, I said wretchedly, quickly trying to organize a list of necessary items. Then do it now. Pack an old-timer and my evening jacket. There is not a moment to waste. So we gotta pack. So different things are good. You see, this is valuable in Paris. So let's take that. This is part of English wardrobe minimum, which you can use to like reschedule trains and stuff, so the trains leave faster and you don't have to wait like a day. But now let's embark on the Amphitrite Express. This is gonna be exciting. We've got £4,000. It's Tuesday. The mechanical horses raced past Piccadilly Circus and Pall Mall faster than a team of thoroughbreds. Even so, the whistle of the 8:25 was blowing as we pulled up to Charing Cross Station. We have no tickets, I exclaimed in horror. That does not signify, Monsieur Fogg remarked with his shoulder as he hurried towards the platform. We must not miss the train. I rushed after. Another train whistle pierced the air. The guard raised his thick brow as if to settle into a nearby compartment. He held out a hand. Tickets, please. Alas, monsieur, we were in a great hurry, I explained, giving him a beseeching. We did not have time to buy tickets. You may purchase them from me, the guard was saying. Though it's more expensive, I'm afraid. £85, please. I handed over the £85 and smiled a thin smile from one working man to another. The guard gave me our tickets and slid the compartment door shut behind him with a pneumatic hiss. Okay, let's converse a bit with Fogg. Tell me about this journey. What is the purpose of a journey? I have made a hefty wager, and I do not intend to lose. This journey will be most expensive, sir. Indeed, we can earn a little from buying and selling our possessions as we travel. Very good. Oh, this is gonna be so exciting. London's smog gave way to rolling hills and the pastures of the Kentish countryside, still untouched by the hand of technological advancement. Monsieur Fogg read his paper whilst I repacked our bags, thrown together in haste and confusion. As afternoon turned inexorably to evening, I discovered that my master was one of those gentlemen who broke their silence rarely, if at all. A guard rapped on our door a few miles before Dover. "We're about to submerge," he warned. "Takes some people a bit funny, so watch out." "What do you mean, submerge?" I cried. "This is the London to Paris Amphitrite Express," he explained, as though talking to a particularly dim-witted child. "Submersible train, talk of all the London papers." "Ah, I must have missed it." "Missed it? Every inch of her has been examined and stamped with the artificial seal. It's the only bathyscape locomotive." I could not help but shiver as the fins above the Amphitrite's wheels extended with a hydraulic hiss. Night fell and we plunged past the end of the track into the freezing water of the English Channel. Wow. A train that can go underwater, that's really cool. So this is just gonna be a nice, calm, more relaxed series compared to my Fallout series or Oblivion, where we just have fun together, relax, chill out. Do you have a route in mind, monsieur? I asked as the water of the channel dried from the compartment windows. "I am as yet undecided," my master admitted. "The new canal sped up the shipping route from Suez to Bombay, though perhaps you could take the Trans-Siberian Railway across Russia." "Surely not Siberia," I exclaimed. "So cold and grim. I have a particular fear of bears." "Then we would do well to buy furs," he replied, refraining from rolling his eyes. "Other alternatives may also travel over land and across the Black and Caspian Seas." "But which is fastest?" "I believe," said he, "that is what we shall put to the test." Parbleu, I scarcely knew what to think. We arrived at Paris Gare du Nord just after 1 o'clock. Ultimatum porters lifted our luggage and then our persons onto the platform with long, delicately filigreed iron arms. Paris, city of my heart. I was home, but not to stay. So now we've discovered new routes because we talked with Fogg. We can go to India through the Suez Canal. We can go from Moscow all the way over Russia to Ekaterinburg, Omsk, Irkutsk, Karimskaya, Uskurisk, and Vladivostok. Fantastic. Now we're in Paris. Let's sell the wax cylinders. Let's not buy anything else. Now let's explore the city. Discovered some new trade routes. Routes that we can take. We had a few hours to spare. I asked Monsieur Fogg if I might enjoy my city before we had to leave. "Indeed, and should you learn anything of note, be sure to relay it." I nodded and headed into town. The talk on the street was of one thing only: an enormous, elegant oval stadium constructed upon the green fields of Champ-de-Mars, containing the technological marvels, art, and amusement. And milling crowds of the World's Fair of 1872. My city still wore the scars of last year's siege, as did I. Paris and France had surrendered to the Prussian army after 4.5 months of grim, blood-soaked resistance in the Franco-Prussian War. Now, this World's Fair was intended to reassure the country's citizens, and the world also, that the City of Light was still a great capital of the world. I do not doubt that. But perhaps there was something to be learned from my master inside. So I entered the grand illuminated pavilions of the exposition. An artificer was replacing an arc light, which had burned out. She first disconnected a strange machine powering the lights. It had a spinning iron wheel which was wound around with a series of armature coils. I merely watched politely, not wanting to disturb her work. Artificers were notoriously irritable. "This is bleeding folly and waste," the artificer grumbled in a thick Yorkshire accent. Oh wow, Yorkshire accent. after they speak in Yorkshire.
This is bleeding folly and waste, the artificial grumpy in a thick Yorkshire accent. The grand machines are finicky beasts.
Is that so?
Oh yes, and the bleeding Yablakov candles only last 2 hours. Not like I have anything better to do, eh?
Oh god, it's a her.
Oh yes, and the bleeding Yablakov candles only last 2 hours.
The harshness of her tone was bellowed by her gentle touch. She unscrewed the arc-light's globe of an enameled glass and replaced the 2 carbon rods within. She reconnected the supply, and 10 Yablakov candles connected in a series lit up once more. Will all streets be lit with electricity soon?
Already fair parts of the city's lit by electricity rather than gaslight, she retorted. London probably lost, given old Queen Vicky's prejudice against the Artificers Guild.
The Queen is against you?
She's just cautious, that's all,
he replied, pocketing a screwdriver once more.
Knows real power when she sees it,
though that's what I say. She looked at her pocket watch Kirsten heard of, dropping something as she went. I hurried after her and returned it. She thanked me.
My medallion, I'll need that to get me lunch from the canteen, thank you.
I bowed in return, and she giggled.
Stop that, you make me blush.
She rubbed the coin thoughtfully. I was given this for my work in Istanbul, you know. I made a very special automaton. I think it works as a driver now, on the route up from Izmir. I think that's right. An automaton you can drive. Of course, is that so strange? I can only shrug. Who knows what is normal in this modern world? I looked about me once more. Avenues sprawled in every direction between the inviting, illuminated pavilions of the expedition. I took a stroll down the Avenue of Nations, lined with buildings in the style of the nation of the world, manned by foreign delegates in national dress, although the newly formed German Empire was a conspicuous absentee in the city it had so recently conquered. The Austro-Hungarian delegation was being harangued by an artificer who looked to me like a farm boy from Provence. The artificer was pointing at one of the soldiers guarding the doorway and shouting in terrible German, "Verboten! Verboten!" What is the matter here? I asked the artificer as he rounded on me. These Austro-Hungarians, he raged in peasant accent French. How dare they? Every nation has a right to be here, I began, but was interrupted.
Not to be here, that!
The soldier by the stand moved suddenly, with a mechanical judder. I realized he was no man at all, but rather an automaton, with a neon-painted uniform and pewter face. The artist cursed. These Austro-Hungarians have brought their automata soldiers to Paris. The war machines are expressly forbidden by the guild. Who knows what danger they might present? I turned away hurriedly. Crowds of tourists jostled and heaved past, their eyes wide with wonder. What do we want to do next? I'm sorry if there's too much talking for you guys. There is gonna be a lot of just me speaking in this. But that's kind of what you have to expect in these kinds of games. I went west towards the airship hangar, past a booth with a husband and wife pair selling panoramic hot air balloon rides to eager tourists. The hangar was crowded with airships and flying vehicles all over shapes and sizes. Of all shapes and sizes. Tended by sharp-eyed crews from all over the world. My eye was immediately caught by the African-made rigid metal balloon, the gilded Egyptian Ifrit-class airship, the metal-clad four-propeller Savarkar Atmotic, the bulky coal gas-powered Ottoman Gaykik, or the twin-bladed Peruvian Gyrocopter. I think the gilded Egyptian Ifrit-class airship, painted all over with styled poppies and feathers, resembling nothing more than a vast flying sarcophagus. Do people really fly in such thing? I asked excited. Indeed, hundreds of them do, and every day, he replied with a booming laugh. Ha ha! They say the skies of Arabia are crisscrossed with the tails of Egyptian airships. Perhaps one day, soon, Monsieur Fogg and I would find ourselves flying in such a craft. Turned to the exposition center, my thoughts turned with clouds and engine rotors. My feet were tired, and the hour was growing late. I returned to Monsieur Fogg, who was eating a plate of boiled beef à l'anglaise. What is that even? I have no idea. Did you enjoy the exposition? My master inquired indifferently. Having preferred a hearty meal and an English newspaper to all the wonders that the modern world had to offer. Will we travel by airship, do you suppose? I asked. Think it highly likely, and expensive, but extremely fast. I dreamed that night of mechanical wonders and automatons with beautifully enameled faces, knowing little of their strange inventions and stranger people I would soon encounter in my journey around the world. Your character is now well healed. As we learned about this automated driver in Constantinople, we could go to Amsterdam or Algiers. Again, no charge at 6 p.m. because we got the Englishman's wardrobe. Fantastic. And we're off to Vienna with the Orient Express. Boarding the Orient Express was an altogether calmer affair than our race through London had been. Mechanical porters loaded us in through the windows and snapped me shut with a delicate click. The train was very beautiful, a jewel of both European design and European diplomacy. The Compagnie Internationale des Wagenlits having persuaded several envious empires to be linked together by the train line. It was one of the many modern developments that led to Monsieur Fox's wager. And of course, it was no coincidence that we should aboard. A last, long whistle blew. We began our journey east. Now let's converse a bit with the train conductor. I'm the honest god. Came of Vienna. They say the musicians in Vienna are drafted into the military. Could one head from Vienna to Venice? I believe so. We traveled by private car from Vienna to Venice, but the journey's a trying one. Could you go from Venice to Dubrovnik? Now you listen to me. You can pick up stopwatches in Dubrovnik and sell them for profit in Sofia. Okay. It's very strange. Now you listen to me, you can buy stopwatches. What? My master wished to be undisturbed, so as we left Paris, I left him and went to explore the train. It was a delightful dining car, an observation deck formed by replacement of an entire compartment with an open glass cube. I attended the dining car, found a few groups of people talking quietly. I joined a pair of young Parisian ladies who were toasting their adventure away from France. They were going to Vienna to hear a concert by the great steam orchestra there. I only hope we'll be allowed to leave, one confided, because of the political situation. The girl whose name I learned was Isabelle Poitiers nodded. Papa says the emperor is spoiling for war. Friend agreed. Remember Belgrade. The mood felt somber. I asked about Belgrade. It seemed they did not know more about the devastation of that city than I had learned from the newspaper at the time. The hour grew late and the girls took their leave. I finished my cognate and then returned to Monsieur Fogg. To my surprise, he looked up from the paper at me. What did you learn, he inquired. I told him of the rumblings of war from Vienna, but he seemed indifferent. I do not think war will break out the day after tomorrow, he observed, so I think we will be safe. Well, that's most likely what people in Vienna said the day before the First World War as well. I had nothing more to say. I do enjoy this game. It's quite calm, relaxing. We arrived in Vienna in the early hours of the morning. The customs official insisted on searching our bags for all things, of all things, artificing tools. I queried the official. Foreigners are forbidden from making automata within the borders of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, he repeated with a bored expression. Strange state of affairs, but I was hardly an artificer, so it mattered little. The sun rose in the sky as we left the station, illuminating the wide, tree-lined avenues of Vienna in pale, welcoming light. Vienna is a really nice place. I highly recommend visiting it. I head to Budapest or Warsaw. I've forgotten my experience at the Paris exposition, but Vienna streets remind me full force. The Austro-Hungarian Empire's might is built upon its armies of mechanical men. They are a magnificent sight, ranged in gleaming rows along the wide Parisian-style boulevards. Their enamel uniforms shine to a polish. As I watched, I was approached by a bookish fellow who hurried out from under the impressive eagle-arched portcullis of the Zeughaus, the Imperial Army. You think them fantastical, he demanded, a curious turn to his voice. Glorious, I replied. Beautifully crafted. They are more impressive than you could imagine. He struck at his hand. Herr Dancer, engineer in the Imperial Kriegsorchester. We went to a cafe to talk. Once he started, he would not stop. Have you noticed none of the mechanical soldiers carry weapons? He asked. What did you make of that? It is most unusual, I agree. Inside each of one is a Mozart Haydn device, perfectly tuned, Dancer replied. The song the soldiers sing is one of devastation. A battalion in harmony can punch through a steel ball. He drew a gilded flute from his cabin and laid it on the table, looking at it thoughtfully. The automata understand music, I asked. No, he answered, uninterested in mine, I think. They merely respond to musical pitch and tone. Cannot reproduce this entire explanation, for it rather stretched my German. It seems the mechanical armies of Austro-Hungary controlled by music. Will you be staying in the city tonight? I hope not. We must travel as fast as possible, he nodded. Very wise. Events are on the move here. If you stayed, you would see for yourself. Is it worth seeing? I persisted. You are traveling, he replied. The army is traveling. Into Belgrade. What of you? Will you ever leave Vienna? I dream of it, he confessed. As a young boy, I longed to join the Artificers Guild. But for someone born in this country, it's impossible. The Kaiser and the Guild are sworn enemies. The Guild, I reminded him, were politically neutral. He shook his head. The Guild are forbidden within the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Our automata are not Guild approved, they are our own. His mouth was a cold line. The Guild would not countenance building such monsters. Thanking him for the coffee, I strolled back along the avenues, watching the city pass by with new eyes. Under its gilded manicure beauty lurked something sharper and more bloodthirsty. Vienna was at once the city of music, and the city of war. Well, this is when I'm gonna leave the first episode of 80 Days. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see all you dudes in the next video. Bye bye.